Is a mortgage at retirement taboo?
I would say no. I mean, given the current market, that
But
we're
I
in,
forget the market. So when you say
the
the
current rate
market, what are you
environment,
talking about?
the current rate environment.
Okay, current interest rate environment. Now,
Yes.
listen to me carefully here, right? Because a lot of people, you will hear uninformed people tell you that you can deduct mortgage interest. The vast majority of us these days take the standard deduction. If you take the standard deduction on your 1040, you do not get to deduct the mortgage. Right? You only get to deduct that if you itemize, and the rules changed enough that unless you're a large charitable people who engage in large amounts of charitable gifting, the probability is that you are taking the standard deduction and you can't deduct it. But with the interest rate so low, Chris, it still might make sense.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we've just seen rates. They've actually bounced a little bit higher than 3% now. But I mean, relatively speaking, you know, taking a look back at 2008, they were right around 6% was the average, and so I think everything's relative to what's currently going on in the given market. And it's funny to me is not everyone understands where we're at today. I've talked to some family members of mine, and I say, well, what's your interest rate? Just the person and me trying to help them out, and they're like, well, I have a pretty good rate. It's 5.5%, and I about fell out of my chair.
Yep.
People just don't always have that person, that fiduciary around that is there to help them.
So
figure out the best
one of the
decision.
things you have to look at in this, Chris, is to you have to ask them two questions: what's your rate, and what do you still owe?
Yeah.
Right? If you owe $50,000, refinancing to go from 5.5 to 2.5 or 3 might not make sense.
Sure.
But if you still owe a couple $100,000 on a house, I mean, you're talking about saving $3,000 to $4,000 a year in interest.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I mean, what wouldn't you do to add $4,000 a year of income, right, into your billfold without having to do a lot of work? There's just no way around it. The thing that we always talk about as to whether or not you should refi or pay off a house is what's called opportunity cost.